Action. Hi, everyone, and thank you. I'm sorry for the delay. Bit of technical problems with my mic, but I'm so happy to be with you today, and thank you. Welcome to Celebrity Customer Experience, where we riff on anything and everything from employee experience to customer experience, of course, because I believe that it starts from the inside, employee experience to customer experience. So why celebrity customer experience? Because I feel every customer deserves to have the same attention and treatment as a celebrity. And I believe that your business can increase revenue while engaging committed and loyal employees and customers. And that begins from the inside. So, without further ado, because we're running a little behind and I apologize, I am so very excited today to bring on my guests. But before we do that, I want to remind everyone to please engage, ask your questions in the comments. We'll bring you into our conversation. A great opportunity to get some great tips on your personal branding. So I want to add to the live cast here, Lorena Acosta, a rare professional where sales and marketing and personal branding brilliantly come together. Over the course of her 27-year career, she's sold hundreds of millions in sales. For Fortune 200 companies to entrepreneurs, she brings an interesting understanding that's resulted in almost 1 million followers in LinkedIn. Lorena helps individuals and companies assess their voice, to discover the true path of success by becoming the voice of their industry. Lorena is the founder of Be Busy, Being Awesome digital marketing agency and the creator of the Trust Factor system. So a lot of good stuff to come. Lorena, thank you for joining.
Thank you, Jill, for inviting me. Thank you. Thank you very much for this introduction. How are you today?
Of course. I'm great. I actually am beyond great. I'm super excited to finally, I know you and I've had conversations offline anyway, but I'm really excited to have this conversation with you now here on the live cast so others can benefit and from your wisdom and your experiences. And again, I just apologize for everyone that I had a little problem with my mic, so we're getting started here, but a lot of good stuff to come. So feel free to engage. So Lorena, I know a bit about your background, which is quite interesting, and your journey, which kind of led you to the world of not only branding, but specifically personal branding. So let's start with, if you could, for those of you who may not know Lorena, maybe you're new to LinkedIn or not engaged very much, because she's very active and in an amazing, powerful way. So if you could share a little bit about your background and your journey, how you got to doing personal branding, and then we'll dive deeper.
Sure. So I've been, from the last 27 years, I've been in one industry, which is the hospitality industry, is the vacation ownership. I've been working for huge companies, worldwide, companies who, sell the vacations, right? So I've been in the industry for so long and promoting all these hotels and selling the brands to everybody, to each customer that I used to talk with, that I never thought to brand myself. So, this is something that I've been doing. Storytelling for me, it's natural, because this is what I used to do, every time I had a new customer. So what I used to do, and teaching also the employees for the companies that I used to work, because I used to train them as well after and mentoring them. is to sell themselves. I mean, if you want to really win the heart of your client needs to know who you are. Your client needs to know that you are interesting and interested in in their lives, their activities, who they are, how many kids they have, and and start, doing your process of discovery, right? Who is your client? What do they like? So it's exactly the same in social media. Who is your target audience, right? So,
Right.
so when I came to LinkedIn, I wanted to start branding myself. I resigned a job that I was having at that time, so I came to LinkedIn to start looking for another position. And LinkedIn was different, and I realized that nobody was connected, often, and I needed to find a job. So I decided to start branding myself 4 years ago, and and then the rest is a story.
The rest is history. Yeah, you clearly were in it for the long game because you put in a lot of hard work and a lot of time devoted to make this happen. So I picked up on something you said. I just want to expand upon a little bit, which you said that people need to be interested, and you have to show you're interesting. So
Mhm.
I think you're right. I think you have to be interested and interesting, right,
Mhm.
to both. And I think those are interesting distinctions, and that your people have to be interested in what it is that you're saying, and you have to be interesting in your offering, your value, who you are, how you present. But you also need to be interested in them and who they
Of
are in order to
course,
create those relationships and those
of course,
connections.
because
And
if
I
not,
think you
there is not gonna be trust, right? So,
right.
and how do you create yourself, or how do you want to be people to perceive you, and see that you are interesting, is by sharing your values.
Mhm.
So when you start
Yeah,
sharing your
absolutely.
values and your beliefs with your clients or with your audience, because your audience are your prospects. So when you share who you are and you share your values and your beliefs as a human being, it's when people start aligning with you and with your message, because they believe in the same things that you believe. In the end of the day, you want to deal with
Yeah.
clients that are aligned with you. I mean, I don't want to have a client that is a headache, that we don't have that much, that we don't have the same understanding and the same aligning, because I will have a lifetime with that client. It's not just one sell. It's not just one interaction. The sell start after you close them, because they become your lifetime clients and they will give you thousands of referrals.
If you
So
right, if you treat them right, right? Like that's
exactly.
the goal. That's the objective
So
always.
what
Yeah.
marketing is missing right now, and many business owners on social media, is the customer service after you sell.
Hmm. Yeah. There are a lot of people who are very big on the sales arm, and they're great at it. And they're like, okay, made that sale, on to the next sale. And instead it's like, no, that's just opening the door. The now the real work begins, right? It's that service,
Exactly.
that delivery of value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's exactly this service that we're talking about is the value that you provide on social media while you develop in your personal brand. Because when you develop your personal brand, you just don't sell. You just don't offer
Yeah.
your services. I mean, how many times you have seen me offering my services?
Yeah,
I
that's
you have
right.
never. I never make an announcement. I never make a ad. I never post a video. I never put a price. For many reasons. First of all, I just work with 7 clients per month. And second of
Hmm.
all, most of my clients are C-level executives, so they have a very compromised schedule, and I have to be open to be able to reschedule our meetings. So, so that is what happened. When you have that relationship and you start sharing your values and your content with your audience, is the customer service that you give to your clients or to your audience. Everything is sales. It's just you need to know how to sell.
Yeah. Right. And I think that people perceive the genuine authenticity. And I think that that makes the huge difference. There's so many people that are doing such hard sales,
Yeah.
and that turns people off. And the truth of the matter is, most people want to buy. If
Yes.
they're there viewing what you're putting out, they're there for a reason. And so most people want to buy, but they
Yeah.
don't want to be sold to. And there's a
No.
very important distinction there. And
Yeah.
so it's a
They
matter
want to
of
learn. They
saying,
want to
look, I'm
learn.
providing value. Yeah, they want to learn. They want what
They
you
want to
have.
learn.
So you've got
They
to
want.
show them,
Yeah,
build
the
that
problem
trust.
right now, the people my audience and my target audience. I mean, sometimes I take business owners, right, or exec professionals like dentists, doctors, But the thing is that most everybody, most of them, are afraid to be judged. Most of them are afraid to
Hmm.
be embarrassed, to say something that is gonna make them feel embarrassed, or something that is gonna be they're gonna ruin their reputation. They are very careful to don't reply, to don't engage, to don't because they don't want to be judged. But in the end of the day, people need to understand that right now this is the way that we are gonna start communicating, because all the world realized, right, after coronavirus, that we can do it, and that is
Yeah.
easier
Wow.
and it's faster.
Yeah. So I want to highlight that for everyone because that was super important. And I think it's true whether it's on social media or if it's anything else that you do, that people are afraid of being judged and
Yeah.
therefore they hold themselves back. And that is huge. And I think, you know, once we get to the place where we just say, you know what, I am who I am, I'm proud of who I am. And the fact is, when you have people who are dissenters, when you have people who don't connect, that's actually better for your business because you're like, you know what, you're separating who's really your right target audience and who is not. And then you can more clearly and more defined in a more defined way speak to those people who you really
Sure.
resonate with and serve them in a better way rather than just speaking to the masses, right?
I will add something which is very important. I mean, this is in general. So people is really concerned about how people is gonna perceive them. They're afraid to don't do
Mhm.
it right and make a mistake, or don't talk fast, or don't have a good accent. I mean, my accent is not perfect. Come on, but my accent didn't stop
It's
me.
charming, it's awesome.
But the thing is that you really people need to understand that fear, is gonna just hold them back. And
Yeah.
then when they really need to have a strong personal brand on social media, you don't have to be dance, so you don't have to sing on the videos. I mean, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Most of the people doesn't do that. But the thing is that you guys need to have a guidance. You really need to have a guidance, because yes, personal branding is not something that you just kind of start and make it fast. I mean, it's a process, and you
The
need
long
to know
game.
the process
Mhm.
to make it right, and
Yeah.
to really
Right.
reassess your voice as the true leader that you are.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of validity if we think about just in our own personal lives, both professionally from what we put out as well as personally as a consumer. When we see advertisements that have been, PR, paid, the promotional advertisements and things that are paid for by a company, whether it's an entrepreneur putting an ad out on social media, or whether it's a big corporate company putting an ad in all the other spaces, that at the end of the day, I think the reason social media, besides bringing people together, has become the place for paid advertising or advertising through social media organically is
Mhm.
because there's that human connection. There's
Of
that, it's
course.
from the street, so to speak, right? People are hearing the real thing. It's not like there's, let's just face it, there is a distrust, or maybe not a full distrust, maybe that's going too far, but certainly the weight and the value of someone's personal opinion or someone's opinion of that product is much stronger, of course, than something that's been paid for, because it's been paid for. They're trying to influence your thoughts and your buying decisions. But when it comes from you, they're seeing what you're offering. Or if you get a great testimonial, you're hearing what the value was for someone else. It's always going to be more powerful. So,
Of
jump
course.
in, right? Like jump in. You've done some really fun things, and just put yourself out there. And I don't think people are judging. I think people are saying, wow, this is amazing. I'm able to see who you are. And that's another thing. People buy from those that they know, like, and trust. And the
Of
trust
course.
comes from seeing them outside of their perfect business world. And I know I need to post more about that myself. There was always
Yeah,
the
you
stigma,
you
especially
need to
LinkedIn, that
align.
it's a
You need to be
professional site,
aligned.
right?
You need to be aligned with your audience, and this, you need to listen. Right now, thought leadership is the way. Is the best
Hmm.
way to market yourself. Through thought leadership. I mean, if you
Say that
really
again
want,
so everyone hears that.
yeah, through a thought leadership, to become a thought leader. What a thought leader does.
Yeah.
I mean, a thought leader, doesn't show his personal life. He shared his story, but he doesn't say what he has for breakfast. I mean, he spent the time with their community in a mindful way. Guiding them. Telling them stories, sharing what happened in the past and how that person overcome things. Mentoring. Because a thought leader is somebody who knows, right, their matters, so
Right.
their skills. So that's why so many CEOs and CTOs and CFOs and executives are stepping out, not only because they want to grant us a space on social media, but because they really had the purpose to help somebody else. So they want to really
Yeah.
share their knowledge, you know, in a way that people can start admire them, respecting them, and learning from them. So they alone create their own authority.
Absolutely. And I think that when we're seeing this trend happen, largely I think due to COVID, it's been hugely successful.
Of course.
Even the how it affects the environment and the ecosystem within the companies, because when the employees are seeing their leadership as real people now, and they're recognizing that, they have pets and children, and yet they're still out there delivering leadership and messaging, and they're doing what they need to do, but you're seeing them, the human side of them. I think there's been a lot more of that connection. And
Mhm.
I think more of that's being done levels the playing field in a way.
Of course. And listen, I mean, there's companies right now who has that position.
Hmm.
They hire people who has been vice president or CEO or a very high level executive in a company,
Yeah.
and has the knowledge. They hire them to be the thought leaders for the company. They want to talk about the company, the culture of the company. They want to share what the company does for the communities, and they want to really, get the people excited about that company and that brand to come to work for them. You know, they are selling right now. The companies are selling their brands to the community. This is something that I just learned,
Exactly. They reach
and I think it's amazing. I mean, I had a client that client was hired to become a thought leader for the company. So he want to really positioning himself, as a thought leader,
out.
and have the guidance.
Love that. Wow. So that's a perfect example of how we're really seeing the shift, the paradigm shift in the corporate world. And that's super exciting to me. I love that.
Yes, for me too. But they want to know how to do it. They don't know how to talk to the audience because they have never done that before. They don't know
Right.
how
That's right.
they don't know how social media works, what they have to do, how they have to interact, what they have to start talking, how they kind of start gaining trust. So all those little things, they want to know, and they want to do it fine, because again, they don't want to mess it up. They are afraid of
100%.
judgment. Mhm.
So I just want to play for a second. I want to learn a little bit more about. So your brand is Be Busy Being, Be Busy Being.
Awesome.
Wait,
Yeah.
yeah, I like all those bees. Be busy being awesome, right?
Yes. Mhm.
So can you let us know, because branding your name, right, is a big part. You're both the visual branding and everything else. What was the idea behind the bee? And now it'll parlay into the next question about tying it into the hive, which I love. But what's the significance of the bee in the name?
Well, the V's right now in the whole world are being extinguished. They're killing them. They are not reproducing because all the pesticides that we are putting in our plants and our foods. So many bees are right now, in danger. And if the bees die, we won't have food, and we're all gonna die.
Right.
So, my sister, she passed away 3 years ago, and she used to be a beekeeper, and that's why I have the bee in my logo, because my sister and because the meaning
That's
behind
beautiful.
the bees. I'm very
That's beautiful.
active in those kind of things, right? Because I have a daughter,
Mm,
and I will be a grandmother someday, and I want a better world for my children. I want them to enjoy things that we enjoyed in the past. You know?
yes. I think the work that we do today is creating a legacy for ourselves
Yeah.
and for our children and what we can do. And a lot of what I feel and what I do, I don't know if I don't think it shows up here, but behind me is my parents' 35-year anniversary award from McDonald's, given in the
Nice.
days when there were very few given out. And and I lost my dad 26 and a half, a long time ago, years ago. And I really feel that he left me with a legacy, the foundation of the work that I do and the beliefs and the core values that I have around work
Mhm.
come from him and those early McDonald's days and working through the industry and seeing how he treated his people and all of those things. And in fact, in my signature talk, I my close is actually about legacy and completing my father's legacy. So I think it ties directly in with what you're saying about that, putting out your personal brand, whatever your branding is, there's meaning behind it.
Of
And at
course,
the end of the
you
day, one of
need
the
to have a purpose.
yeah, a purpose. Absolutely. Purpose driven business. I'm all about purpose driven business. And there was something that you had on, it was posted, I think it was another episode or a podcast or something that you had been on, where I want to just bring this in and really have people understand how it really connects with your customer experience, how you present yourself outward. And I guess it goes back to that being interesting, but that people connection branding is all about really defining who you are, what you sell, and who your audience is, right? Like, don't you feel that it's really about this human connection in
Of
business?
course. I mean, I've been saying this for years. I mean, since I start, that people needs to humanize their brand. I mean, if you don't humanize your brand, I mean,
Yes.
there is not gonna be that human connection, because we are all related. We all have a story. So, if you and I, we like each other because we have something in common. I mean,
Yes.
create relationships, more deep relationships with other people, because my beliefs are stronger with that person. It makes sense.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
it's not just about the business, it's a human interaction, because in the end of the day, I mean, if I create a good relationship with you, right? I mean, not everybody loves me, and that I'm okay with that. I love
Yeah,
myself,
me too.
you know.
There you go. There you
But
go. That's what it's about.
the people that you interact and you create a mindful relationship, those are the people that refer you with somebody
Mhm.
else. You don't know how many
Yeah.
people. I mean, I never announce myself, I never pay for ads, but people comes to me, and 99% are people who has been watching me for a while,
Yeah.
and the way that I write really has aligned with what they are looking for, because what I write and what I share on LinkedIn is not for everybody. Everything that I
And that's
write and I
perfect.
create,
That's
yes,
what it has to
it,
be, right?
it, it has a target audience. So, I know when I write something that I'm gonna get 5, 7, or 10 leads in that day. I
Mm,
mean, they are not gonna qualify at all, right? Because I
right.
told you I'm very selective with who I work, right?
Hmm.
So not everybody qualifies, but 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 I have leads that comes to me every time I write something with that target audience. You need to
Right.
learn how to do it.
Yeah. It reminds me of from my real estate days. So one of the things, I have a diverse background across different industries, and I think of triggers different ideas and experiences that have happened across industries, cross pollinating those. And it makes me think about my very early real estate days. I started my business in New York and am now licensed in Texas and New York. But my very first client, oh my goodness, they really challenged me. Let's just put it that way. They were so difficult and they were just not nice people. And
Wow.
at the time, it was like this was starting out my career, but they were just downright abusive and rude to me. And I thought,
Wow.
okay, is this God's way of like testing me to say, do you really want to be in this business? But what I took away from that, because I always try to look at the positive, is this is a message that says, you know what? You're just starting, work hard, find those people who you do connect with, who connect with your style, so that you can fire those people, so that you don't have to bring on those type of clients, and that you're bringing in the people who are not only like-minded, but I think like valued, and people who
Yes.
share the same values as you were saying, and not just like minds, right? Because there's a lot of people who
Yes.
might have the same opinions, but their values might be different. And
I
so
mean,
now,
you're
honestly, I
correct.
don't work with anybody that
You're
I don't
right.
feel that with, just like you said. Yeah.
Yes, and I
Uh,
fire once a client, and I told him sorry,
mhm.
but I cannot work with you. We don't align.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen too often. But I think when you do your vetting in the beginning, both sides, right? They're vetting you, but you're also vetting them. And I think a lot of people forget that. They're like, oh, I've got a client and they're checking to see if they want to work with you, but you forget that maybe you don't want to work with them. And it's the same thing I want to just put out there for people who are employees going to look for jobs, especially in the corporate world. They're going and they're like, oh,
Mhm.
will they take me and will they want me? And they feel that they have no power. But I want to encourage you. And as I had a guest, Hollis Roberts, who's really speaks to this, that you as an employee, you're choosing them as much as they're choosing you. So when you
Of
are strong
course.
in who you are and what you want, then that's something that you need to take into everything that you do. Um,
Today I
so
have an offer, a job offer from
a
a
what?
past,
Mhm.
yeah, from a past company that I work for.
Oh, okay.
Today one of the heads of the recruitment, just contact me and ask me if I want to get that position, and I say, well, I would love
Sorry.
to, but I'm not interested in that position anymore. So I told him the position that I was looking for, and he told me, you will be perfect for that. And I said, well, this is what I want. So
Hmm.
now, they know what I want, but I can ask for, because I have demonstrated for years who I am.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. And how complimentary, right? To know that people want you and what you have to offer, but how nice to be in the position to say thank you, but no thank you if it doesn't
Yes,
suit you. So,
it
so I
doesn't,
want to
not right
move
now.
to
Yes, you're right, correctly.
yeah, not right now. Yeah, exactly. Things might change.
I want, no,
So
and or to be honest and say, this is not what I want to do anymore. I would
mhm,
like to go back to work in your company, but this is what I will love to do, because this is what I enjoy to do. So
yes,
when I say
absolutely.
that, and he tells me, and you will be perfect for that, because he knows, but he understands. So now you are in the position that you can ask. Don't settle for things
Yeah,
that are not going to make you
absolutely.
happy.
Oh my gosh, life is way too short for that.
Yes, ask.
Absolutely,
If you don't
absolutely. And
ask, nobody's going to know what you're thinking.
100%. We've got to speak your mind, and you do it diplomatically, but you can't expect someone to read your mind.
If
Yeah,
it's no, it's a
absolutely.
no, and you
I
move on. But what if it's a yes?
yeah, be careful what you wish for, right? Like people might say yes. Absolutely. Um, so I want to ask you about your branding Friday at the Hive, something I think new that you have going on that I'm excited to check out. So
Yeah.
will you tell us all about what this is and how
Yes.
someone can join and what that's about,
Yes.
please?
As I told you, I used to take 7 clients per month. I don't post on a website a video that is gonna be there 24 hours by 7, and people will go and pay $300 or four hundred
Hmm.
dollars to do the course, because I believe that personal branding is personal, right?
Hmm.
So there is a lot of people right now that has been sending me emails and has been sending me at DMs, and they want to learn more. And sometimes they don't qualify. Sometimes they cannot afford my services. So, but I believe that everybody has the right to learn, right? And I'm here just not to create a business, but also I have a purpose, and my purpose is to help people to become a better person, or do something better for their lives.
Love
So
that.
this is my purpose. So that's why I started the branding Fridays. I applied for LinkedIn Live so many times, so they have denied me the opportunity. So I was expecting and waiting to have that, to start doing that at least once a week. 1 hour just to answer questions and tell people what to do. And but it didn't happen. So this year I decided that I want to start it. I will start it on Zoom. It's not I'm not charging anything to anybody. It's not a track, it's not marketing tactic, it's not email click, it's not nothing, right? So they just need to show up and come every Friday. I mean, I just post the link. Probably I'm gonna post today another link for tomorrow. And I'm just accepting 25 people or less, because then I have time to talk to them. Last week we have people coming in, and Bradley was so happy because me and Billy Dolan were just coaching him, and he was so excited. I'm very grateful, that he even created a video. So I'm doing this just to help people, who cannot afford the services, who are concerned about how to start, who they may think they want to do it by themselves, or they just want to know who I am, and
Hmm.
if the way that I explain is gonna fit their character and their personality, because you cannot just hire somebody that you don't know if it's gonna be a good fit, right? So you need to have that
Right,
connection.
right.
So
So it gives
sometimes
it a
people
taste.
want to go and see you, wants to listen to you, wants to hear you. So it's a great
Yeah.
opportunity as well to promote my services. I'm not selling it, I'm not gonna offer it. I'm not gonna offer it. I'm just gonna help people, share my knowledge, answer questions, and present myself to my audience. I
That's
can
beautiful.
I
So
can start with one, and tomorrow with two, and maybe the next
that's it.
Wednesday, the next Friday with five, and the next 25, and that's it. I'm gonna start. I'm not gonna market that. People who really wants to learn and
Yeah.
wants to learn how to do it right the way that I have done, because until now I don't know anybody yet, and this is. I'm not trying to put myself like that, but on branding, 1.2 millions of followers on LinkedIn, I haven't met anybody yet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm actually going to check it out. So I'm really excited about that. And because I do know your work and I do know who you are, and I very much align with who you are. And so afterwards, I'll get the link from you and I'll post it also here on this thread and try to get more people there, because I really advise anyone to check it out, especially just really look at Lorena's feed and you'll see the great work that she does. And
And you know something?
I'm a learner, right?
Yeah,
Anything you can learn,
yes,
even if it's one or two tips, right? Like I'm a life
yes.
learner. So anytime there's an opportunity to go and learn, I'm there.
And don't come just one Friday. I mean, every Friday is a new opportunity to learn something, because you're not going to learn just from me. You're going to learn from the questions that other people
Yes.
is asking. because maybe you have
Hmm.
so many questions and you just have asked for one, but you're gonna listen, and this is the magic of
Hmm.
that, because you're gonna be learning about what I answer to other people and the interaction that I have with others. So I mark in
100%. Yeah, that's why I love the group environment that way. Hmm.
yes, it's fantastic. I love it. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
that's awesome. Uh, yeah, me too. I'm really excited about that. And I think for everyone, really take advantage of this. Now, Lorena, is this I know you have a trust factor system that you created. Is
Mhm.
that the kind of your methodology from which you teach?
Yes. Yes, the trust
Okay.
factor system is my whole course, but I call it trust factor system because the way that I do my writing, the way that I create the content, uh, it's not just a blogging post. It's not just something that came out of my mind. It
Mhm.
has a structure, and this is how I teach my clients how they can develop trust with what they're sharing, and it works.
Yeah. Great. Love it. So I apologize that we started late. We went the half hour. I've been trying this starting this year to make these a little bit shorter so they're more bite sized. So hopefully people will come in and watch it all the way through. But I think I'm seriously going to start like a series with several of the people because there's so much to talk about and there's so many great things to garner from that. So unfortunately, I'm going to wrap up soon, but Lorena, would you come on again with me and I'll make sure all my
Of
mics and everything's working?
course.
Okay,
Of
awesome.
course,
So
Gilly, of course.
but I do want to ask you because thank you, my dear. I adore you. I think you're
Oh,
fantastic.
you're awesome. Thank you. Thank
So
you.
I know that you inspire. Of course, and I don't say it something unless I mean it. I'm truly genuine in that
I
way.
appreciate you. Thank you, Gilly.
So I know that you inspire so many people. And I find it very inspiring to know what guides and inspires others on their journey. And I have so many books and music and quotes that I save, all these things that inspire me and inspire others. So as I said, I'm a life learner. I like to learn from others. What would you share with everyone about what inspires you? Like, is there a favorite book or a quote or person or something that you feel has inspired you in this work that you're doing?
Humanity, right?
Mm,
People is what inspire me. I mean, what's
yeah.
best that helps somebody to become a better version of themselves?
Love that question, that answer. That's beautiful. And you talked about that before in terms of really helping people. And I have to say, this has been such a gift. I started my live cast. I was very fortunate that I had permission from LinkedIn to do the live cast actually last year, long before COVID, but really took it seriously once COVID hit because it was my way of being able to help others. I was so frustrated, particularly in the hospitality and restaurant worlds, which have been so decimated. And I thought, what can I do? How can I help? I volunteered to be the driver, to take food for frontline workers and all these different things that didn't come to fruition. And I couldn't be out and about because everyone had to be homebound. And I realized that I needed to start this live cast. I needed to start this live show so that I could shine a light on other businesses who were making it through, who were innovating, who were being creative to get through this time so that so we could both shine a light on their business, right, to bring them more business, but also to be a mentor to show others that are going through this time and what they could do to learn how to keep themselves afloat during this time. And honestly, it has been the biggest gift for me to be able to have these kinds of conversations with people like you, to shine a light and to let others learn from you. And I feel like I'm just the person to speak through. I provide the platform and hope that from time to time I can offer some value as well. But I really find that I'm the one who benefits so much from this, and it's really been a gift. And I do believe your answer is a beautiful answer of humanity and being inspired by people and what keeps us going. I'm on this new app called Clubhouse, and there was a room last night talking about your dreams and what keeps you going and what inspires you. And actually, that was my response. It is the people, it's the connectivity between people that keeps me going, that makes me excited. And you're a perfect example, a shining light of someone who does that, and through your branding, through your personal branding, what you teach.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much for joining.
My pleasure.
Of course. So Lorena, just hang with us for 1 minute, if you don't
Sure.
mind. We're going to be wrapping up. And thank you so much for being with us. And I just want to also say that next week on the 28th, we have Nate Brown joining us. He is a CX accelerator. CX stands for customer experience, for those who don't know. And so Nate will join us then. Feel free, please continue to watch the replays, comment, tag Lorena and myself, and we're happy to get back to you with questions or answer any questions, advice, just to connect with us, connect with her, connect with me. And she's on Clubhouse too. So I'm looking forward to I'm going to bring you back on, Lorena. I'm looking forward to doing some rooms with you. We'll do together. It'll be really
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I'm just waiting for my phone. Listen, I'm an Android person, and my daughter just got the new iPhone 12 Pro. So for
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, so she's waiting for all the things to cover, to protect her phone, and
Yeah.
she's migrating all her data to the new phone. So I'm gonna use her
Ah.
phone only for Clubhouse. So every day I'm asking, "Are you ready?" No. From behind her, like, do you finish? No. So she
I
told me
know.
the other day, she told me that I have like 25, I don't know, 20 followers already, and I haven't even been in the platform. So let's
Yeah,
see.
it's an interesting place for sure. So at some point, we'll do that. But anyway, LinkedIn, I love LinkedIn, and we'll continue here. And there's a lot of great things. So thank you again for
Thank
joining. And
you.
we look forward to seeing everybody next Thursday with Nate Brown. Thank you.